All right. Lydia.
Hi, Brian.
It's good to have you back.
Thanks.
We have a new website today.
We
If
do.
you haven't seen it already, go check out gouletpens.com. I think we're bringing it up in like an hour from when we're shooting this, but it'll be up by the time this is live, and I'm really hoping that everything goes smoothly. We really don't have a clue, but no. We prepared well. Rachel's hanging out. That's why I was like, hey, Lydia, can you help do this thing so that Rachel can concentrate? Lydia, you got a couple of topics for us today.
I do.
Two good ones, so we're going to try and mash them together.
Yep.
You got one on letter writing, and then also you are the resident lefty here at Goulet Pens. And you just shot a video that's going to be publishing next week or something?
No, it's a series of videos, actually.
I love to give Andy. By the end of the week, next week, you will have seen.
8 videos.
I'm great at committing other people to
Oh,
the
yeah.
work. Yeah.
Well,
but
it's all good.
It's called Left Out.
Yes.
Yeah, a lefty video. So for you lefties
Super
out
exciting.
there, get some lefty love. So that'll be forthcoming. But you got a really cool story about letter writing.
I do.
I'd love to hear
So my boyfriend was in the Army. He just got out in October, but while he was gone, we actually wrote letters. And his birthday's in August. We started dating in July, and I actually bought him one of the Triumph stationery sets for his birthday.
Nice.
And that's how we kept in touch for the last couple months of his time in the Army.
That's really
So
cool.
it's super fun. And honestly, like I mentioned it in the Left Out videos, but fountain pens really helped me enjoy writing again because I didn't when I was younger. And letter writing was one of my favorite things to do with my pens. So I used the stationery set and we would write back and forth to each other. And now as I'm packing to move, I keep finding all the old letters and it's
that's so
super
cool.
exciting.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we sat down and read them together the other day. And it's just really neat how I can have that little time capsule of our relationship.
That's really cool.
So, and it's great that I work here because there's so many great products that you can buy to use to write the letters.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, I get asked about that all the time. People are like, I want to write, but I have no idea what to do. How about now that he's back? How do you find that to be? Has that changed for you?
It has changed a lot. So he doesn't write me anymore. But I still write him sometimes, and I'll grab just a random note card. I bought some of the bigger note cards when we had them with the Cardinals and stuff, and I'll grab those and write him a little note on it.
Yeah.
Stick it in an A5 envelope and just leave it for him.
Nice.
But you kind of miss it when he's back again because you're just communicating via text and face to face and whatever.
Yeah.
So gotta find little reasons to slip it in there.
There you go. You gotta be like, you need to go away so we can write each other some letters again.
Pretty much.
That's
he was
pretty
in
cool.
Mexico for 2 weeks and I thought about just writing him while he was gone and giving him to him.
It's like, we didn't even get to him in time if he's only gone for 2? Probably not.
I just bundle him up and tie a ribbon around him and hand him to him when he
really
gets off
cool.
the plane.
That's really cool. Actually, I got an email the other day from a customer who his wife is working overseas for 14 months, and they are writing letters back and forth. They've been married 29 years. I won't say who because I didn't ask permission to say his name, but she's about to come home now, and he says that it is completely rekindled their marriage. Even though they've been apart, the letter writing has actually just kind of opened up a whole new, facet of emotions for the two of them, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I think you mentioned, I think it was in a Q&A a couple years ago about somebody that said that they used Blue Ghost to write secret notes on their letters.
I've heard a number of people who've been deployed, one or the other, and they've been apart, and writing letters back and forth. And the coolest one was they were an engaged couple, and it was the guy, fiance, was overseas and she was here, and she would write letters, but she would write the main letter in normal ink and then write secret things. I don't know what the contents was, but things that she definitely didn't want his buddies to read. Yeah, so she would write secret messages in Blue Ghost and so that only he would know that those messages were there. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And that's probably one of the only legitimate uses for Blue Ghosts I've ever seen, besides cool shots on Instagram or something like that. But that is really cool. That we got a real life story here about correspondence.
Yeah. And these are great, honestly, the Triumph paper, because it's
I love that paper.
It's big enough that you can write a substantial letter. But then if you need something smaller, there's the original Crown Mill sets too, that A5 size. So really you have something for as much writing as you want to do.
That's true. Did you always kind of default to the A4 size?
Yeah,
Was that?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Just because it feels like normal notebook paper to me. And my dad and I used to write letters when I was in college. So that was just like I would use my notebook while I was in class and write him a letter.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the smoothness of that paper,
too,
is
great.
like...
It's great.
It's like even smoother than regular Clairefontaine paper, which is really smooth.
I think Juan got a little spoiled because I bought him the set and then I bought him the varsities, which are smooth in and of themselves.
Right.
So he just got really used to writing with that and he comes back and writes on regular paper. He's like, I don't like this as much.
No, not a fan. Not a fan. Now, do you use the lined or the blank?
I use the lined.
The lined? Okay.
Because it keeps me in line. Otherwise, I might start going
So here's
downhill.
here's a little hack. I kind of set you up for this one. What I do is I use the blank, but I take a sheet of lined paper and I put it behind.
That's a good...
So you still get the lines. They're more subtle, obviously, while you're writing. But then when you send it, it looks like you just have like some superhuman ability to write straight lines.
Nice.
But in fact, you're cheating. But hey, whatever, as long as it looks cool.
Hey, it works.
But yeah, that's what I like to do.
It
But
works.
Either way, it's pretty awesome. So that's pretty cool. It's really nice,
Yeah.
nice real life story there. Okay, so let's transition here because you, as a
want to
resident
give a little
Lefty,
preview of Left Out.
yeah, you need to give a little bit, enough of a teaser,
Yes.
but not give away the punchline. So,
all right,
I actually
so-
don't even know because I haven't like looked at. This has been your projects, the two of you. So I'm pretty pumped.
So we broke it down into 3 videos, so you have 3 to look forward to.
Nice.
The topics we mentioned were just like an overview of lefties and how we write for the first video. The second video, we tackle flex and stub nibs.
Ooh,
and using those
that's
as a
about that
lefty.
A lot.
Yeah, that was really hard to narrow down to like a 5-minute segment to
Yeah,
give people
yeah,
tips.
okay,
Yeah. And
okay.
then the third one, I talked about my recommendations for pens, inks, and paper.
Okay, nice.
So that would be really, really exciting.
That's awesome.
I think people are going to enjoy that. Obviously, it's all my opinion, so it's... Take it
how
as
this
you
process
will.
works, Lydia.
It's all my
Really, we
opinion, so
should
take
here. I'm
it as
just
you
like,
will.
Exactly. It's like, I hope that I know what I'm talking about here.
Yep.
But one thing that's interesting is, I'm not a lefty, so even when I've tried, I'm like, this is just terrible. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know, whatever. It doesn't work for me. So I rely completely on you and everybody else, the opinions, and the opinions are all over the map.
Right.
And one of the things that's most interesting to me is just how much variation there is in writing style with lefties in particular. And I've asked this of lefties. I'm like, why is hook-handed such a common thing with lefties as opposed to righties? Like, I don't know that many righties that write like this.
Yep.
But lefties, it's way more common. And a lot of people are just like, my teacher had no idea how to teach me anything, so I was left to my own devices. Like, that's the most common answer I've gotten. Is basically like, they were like, yeah, the desk didn't accommodate, like, he had like the desk with the built-in arm. They were like,
those are my worst
we only had
enemy.
one lefty desk in the room and I didn't get it.
Right.
So they were like, I had to like give myself more space to write.
my
And I'm just like,
gosh.
that's terrible. There's basically like neglect and they've had to handicap themselves by doing that. And that's why they were hooking,
It's definitely an adaptive style because I can't mimic the
you're
overhanded writing very well because I'm an underwriter.
You're an underwriter. Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yep, but like one thing I even mentioned in the video, so I have my Karis Customs that I got the custom ground nib on, and it's got the right-footed italic nib on it.
Okay.
Andy, I don't know if you can...
Put it next to the white paper, like lay it down.
So if you can see, it's ground on an angle, so it kind of slopes that way.
This would be an oblique.
Yes.
Oblique.
Okay, hold on.
So the reason this works so well for me is because like normal stubs and obliques I can't use because I can't maintain contact with the paper. So with this one, it's actually ground on an angle so that I maintain the contact and keep the ink flowing, which is why it's one of my favorite pens.
I'm actually talking about obliques in Q&A.
Oh, really?
Yep, this afternoon when I shoot it, and you'll see it on Friday. So
Nice.
little teaser. Didn't even realize you were setting it up, but
Yep.
there we go.
And that's Pelican 4001 Violet, which is also a great ink for lefties.
Yes, because fast drying, right?
Yep. It's a
Nice.
very dry ink.
Cool.
So I mentioned that, and then I don't know if I actually used the left-handed Lamy nib, but I know I mentioned it. And this also works well for me, but I've heard a lot of lefties say it doesn't make a lot of difference for them.
Yeah, I think it depends.
Right.
It just depends.
It depends on your angle, but it still writes really smoothly. It's basically like using a medium.
Yeah. I think that's about the tip size equivalent of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just made to be smoother in a push motion.
But we finally got them
Yes.
back in stock, so I had to pick one up.
Nice.
So now I have one.
Yeah, okay.
And then I gave love to my Metro because that's
Nice.
my first pen, my favorite pen. And
What nib size do you prefer for the Metro?
this is the fine.
Really? So
Yep.
so normally I would associate using slightly broader nibs because it's a little smoother in a push. But this is a pretty fine nib.
It is, and I love it because I can use my wet inks with it. So my favorite ink is Diatramentus Sherlock Holmes,
Okay.
and I can use it in the fine without any
Gotcha.
smudging concerns.
So you just have to give a little extra kind of consideration to it. Is that okay? Cool.
Yeah, basically what I said in the video, spoiler alert, if you're gonna use a wetter nib, just use, or a wetter ink, use a finer nib. If you're gonna use a drier ink, then you can use the broader nibs.
That makes sense. Now, what about like shimmering inks and stuff like that? Sheening, high shimmers, things with like, universally long dry times.
Right. Because I'm an underwriter, I don't have issues with those, but I'd say for anybody else that wants to try them, the key is going to be turning the paper
Yeah.
to keep your hand
So you don't
out of...
smear it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're like an overwriter, you can tilt the paper so that you're still doing your hook-handed writing, but you're out of the line of writing, so you won't hit it.
I've talked to one lefty who writes hook-handed like that and has the paper literally at like 90 degrees. So it's like the lines are going up and down so that they can write, and they're essentially writing bottom to top.
Right.
Whatever works.
It works for
You know
them.
what I mean? Whatever works.
We're an adaptable bunch.
That's right. Cool. Well, that's
Yep.
awesome. Really looking forward to those videos. Be sure to check out our new site today. Check out Q&A if you're curious about obliques as well. And then look out for the Left Out series, I guess, that it will be of 3
Yeah.
videos that Andy will have done lickety-split. I'm just kidding. Andy, you got plenty of time. Everybody will be patient. We got a patient bunch here. Everybody's been cruising on the new site. They got time. But anyway, hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Lydia for being on again. And right on.